Hey guys, Frank here, your virtual general aviation aviator, and today I am in the Kodiak Quest and I'm at Pembina, North Dakota, and my mission today is to fly some passengers to Manitoba, Winnipeg, Canada. And it turns out that Manitoba is roughly about it's about 60, just under 60 miles due north of the field. So, fortunately, there is the Red River that flows through both cities. So, our plan is to fly VFR and just kind of follow the river up north to Winnipeg. All right, so let's get started. Let's get in the cockpit. And we are in a cold and dark state. Let's see, let's jump back outside. So as you can see, we're tied down and our static elements are on. Um, so yeah, let's get this party started. So let's get these covers off, get tie down off. And in the Kodiak Quest, we do have some granular control over some things. Okay, so our mode is realistic. When the reflections are on, panel reflections are on, GPU is off. We're going to do a battery start. Don't need the cargo pod, and the brakes are engaged. The chucks are off. Our livery is a dynamic custom livery, and our tail number is one that we just pulled out of thin air, 749 Tango Whiskey. That kind of rolls off my tongue. And our payloads are 175 for the pilot, 209 for passenger, for the co-pilot passenger, and roughly just under 100, just under $200, $200, 200 pounds for each passenger. Um, and we all got a little something in the back seat. In fact, these seats are empty. And we got 90 pounds of gear in the aft section of the aircraft. Defluidizing, our de-ice fluids are full, and our oxygen tanks are full. We will not need oxygen on this flight. Okay. Down to miscellaneous, and I know I skipped camera and audio slew, so I'm not going to go over those two today. Um, we are using our Tundra tires and with mud flaps. Synthetic vision is on, as is autopilot and anti-ice. Now, a little bit about synthetic vision in the Kodiak Quest. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I think what Thranda did with this synthetic vision is grab the outside view and squeezed it down and stuck it in the GPS, because I get a lot of extraneous detail on it that I see outside the window um, on the synthetic vision. And by now, I thought they would have circled back and fixed the GPS, since they've done it in so many other planes. Another thing that I don't like about this aircraft is it is frame intensive. When I am zoomed in, I can easily get down below 20 frames, and I need at least 20 frames per minute to remain in per second. 20 frames per second to remain in real time. Otherwise, I drop below real time and start flying literally in slow motion. Okay, enough of that said. Let's get this bird started. Okay, so um, I am as I am not going to use checklists. I know I really should, and when I forget something, I will beat myself up. But it is what it is, right? Okay, so let's make sure our brakes are set, and brakes are located here, and brake is set. Let's make sure our fuel is on. All right, fuel 1 and fuel 2 is on. And let's make sure our levers are responsive, and they are. Okay. So I do have the alpha, the honey, the honeycomb alpha yolk. I'm gonna say Honeywell, and I think most of the switches work. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the master. Master is on, and as you can see, right now the synthetic looks the way I do, almost the way you would think it should, except for you can see the pavement. Um, but there's really nothing outside to really look at. But you can see some of the building detail um, over to the on the right side, which I think is one of the things that's causing it to be so frame heavy. All right, so I'm on a battery, so I don't want to be too long-winded here. All right, so what we want to do is we want to turn our starter to low motor. All right, NG is at 17%. Go ahead and introduce fuel. Watching our ITT, it spiked, but it's coming down. NG is above 52%, so that's a good start. All right, and oil pressure is, or temperature is still cold, but oil pressure is in the green, so we're good there. And let's go ahead and turn on our generators and alternator, and we can turn on our avionics bus. All right, so that brings alive our PDF. And this information right here is gives us a status of our databases. Now I do have the Navigraph stuff installed, but apparently this is just a static screen. All right, so the database information is not updating there. All right, so let's zoom in to where we are. And yeah, so here I am. And bring this guy down. Oh, wrong way. And this is why the glass cockpit can be um, a hard thing to use for some of us. All right. So let's get rid of these cautions. Now, auxiliary fuel pump is on. That can go to standby. Starter is on, so that can go to off. Ignition is on, and that can go off. Uh, Engine inlet is set to normal. We need to set that to bypass because we are on the ground. And pitot heat is off, and our outside temperature is -5, so those can come on even if it's not cloudy. It is cloudy, so yeah, we are gonna encounter some icing conditions. Now I'm running X-Plane Vulcan, and icing is we're not modeled with Vulcan and X-Plane11. In fact, rain a lot of stuff for once they changed the API, just we're not model. Um, I don't know why. That's above my pay grade, but suffice it to say, it won't. Okay. All right. So let's check our trims. And elevator trim is set to take off. Our rudder trim looks like it's in the right place. All right. So let's see. Now, this um, I can say from experience that the the displays in this aircraft look a little bit smaller than they do in a lot of the other aircraft with glass cockpits that I have flown. I think my best guess is that's because um, the the cockpit has a lot of um, stuff in it built into it, and it has three displays as opposed to two. If if this yoke was say down here and this cockpit could take this whole space and you only had two, um, then or maybe even three if if the yokes were down a little bit further, but that's not how the Kodiak was made. So we do have our standby gauges here, and let's jump into Sky Vector and take a look's peek at the at the airport information. Okay, so I'm getting that pulled over now. All right, so um, we've got a CTAF is 122.8. Unicom is the same. Uh, AWAS is 126.475. So let's go ahead and put that in. 126. Let's go to bottom 126.475. That's and I know that's hard for you guys to see, so let me zoom in. I actually can pop these out, which I tend not to do, but since I'm sharing this video with you guys, then I'm gonna go ahead and pop them out. And let's put that into the that's not 126. 126.475. And pop that in. And 122. What was it? 122.8. All right. And okay, so we got that done. And close that up. Now, it's cold outside, -5 degrees outside temperature, so let's make sure we get some heat going in here. I think we might have some heat on our engine temperature by now. Our oil temperatures are coming up, so yeah, I think we may be able to get a little heat. So let's turn on our auxiliary bus, and that turns on the lighting system for the heating system or the environmental controls. And we also get a message that let us know that our auxiliary bus is on, which it's going to stay on. Okay, so the cabin temperature is at 9 degrees Celsius, so we want 23 degrees is it works for us. So let's turn. Uh, Actually, I've noticed that when I click on the on button, it it actually pops this guy out. So I have to use the on button over here. And let's turn those on auto, and the same with the passengers. And let's turn the fan up a little and turn the fan. Okay, the fan looks okay for the passengers. Actually, there's more in the back than in the front. You can see the cabin temperature is coming up now. So yeah, those guys are getting be toasty pretty soon. All right. So got that sorted out, and we got our frequencies in. And what else do we need to do? Okay, let's turn our lights on. We already got our beacon on, and we started the aircraft with our beacon on. And let's go ahead and turn our taxi lights on and our nav lights. Okay, and we got our engine inlet bypass open, which is the same as the inertial separator on some of the other turbo um, aircrafts. All right, and I never know which passenger is gonna spun in beside me in this aircraft, but but because depending, the passengers just seem random. All right, all right. So we close that, and let's get our headphones turned on. Get rid of some of this engine noise. All right, and you guys may not be able to hear the engines at all now, so I'm gonna just turn that up just slightly, and go ahead and feather. Well, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more as a unfeather the prop. Maybe you'd be able to hear the engine spool up, and it takes it a while to spool up, but it will. I think it takes it about 20 seconds to spool up, to start to spool up. All right, here it comes. And I hope you guys were able to hear that. So turn my engine noises back down just a bit so that they don't be too overwhelming. All right, and let's um let's go ahead and make our calls and get started. Let's see, we're right here at this. I tell you what, we're gonna take off here, and so where is our key? Okay, here's our key. So we're gonna take off to the south on 3-3, and then I think let's see, make sure that we can do make sure that they don't have any pattern restrictions. As let's see, runway 1533, and I don't see anything that say right pattern. So we'll take off on 3-3 and make left traffic and pick up the Red River, and our plan is to stay to keep the river on our right and just follow the river up. Okay. Anyway, I don't really need the GPS, so I'm not going to put a plan in since I plan to follow the river. Um, Actually, it would be smart to put a plan in just in case I lose the river. And since I've never flown this before, then hopefully I won't lose the river. Now, with the Kodiak, you actually set the torque based on how much, based on a number of things. So our outside air temperature is below 10, and let's see, we didn't put in our altimeter, and I think that was 2955. I didn't write it down, and generally I do try to remember to write these things down so I don't have to rely on my memory. All right, so let me just power back and turn COM2 back on.
Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky conditions 1300 overcast. Temperature -4. Dew point -6. Altimeter 2955.
Yeah, -4 and -6. So that's a recipe for snow. Okay, hit this guy real quick. Yep, that's a recipe for snow and definitely icing. Okay, so that means that we're actually going to need to climb up and try to get up above these clouds. All right, 2955. And a low pressure generally indicate bad weather. All right, let's do a cross check. We at about 790 on the field, and let's see what sky vectors say. This guy should be 796. Okay, so we good. Cross checked on the altimeter, and let's make this happen. All right, so taxi lights are on, nav lights are on, and let's do this again. Our brakes are released. Clear right, clear left, clear right. And I'm sorry, guys. I still didn't figure out where to set my rotation speed. Maximum engine torque. Okay, maximum engine torque for takeoff. Pressure. Okay, so the outside air temperature is about right up in here. -4. Okay. Pressure altitude ought to be about what's, yeah. So a pressure altitude ought to be somewhere up in here. So it looked like we want to use somewhere about 1590 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, and if we got our cabin heat on and our pitot stall heat on, then we want to reduce it by 30 foot-pounds. So yeah, so 100. See, inertia separator's on, so that's -140 foot-pounds. We're below 15,000 feet, so that's another 40. So that's 180, 90, and 210. So if we're here at 1600 minus 210, then that's going to give us 1590 minus 210 is 1390, 1380 is what we come up with. So yeah, so let's put in 1380 foot-pounds of torque. I hope that's right. If any of you guys know anything better, excuse me. If any of you guys know anything better, then please let me know. All right. So 1380 on the foot torque, and let's make this happen. We've been on the ground long enough. All right, so let's taxi out and make our call. And this is every time I hit these brakes, I get this boom sound. I don't know why, but I do. Okay, so just give me a second, guys. Pimbini. Pimbina. All right, Pembina traffic, Kodiak, red red and white Kodiak is taking off runway 33, departing downwind to the north, Pembini. Left downwind to the north, Pembini. All right, so try not to hit them brakes and get rid of that guy. 13, 13, was it 1380 or 1310? 1380 is what we want to 1590 minus 210. All right. Taxing the runway 33. Pembini traffic, Kodiak red and white is taking off on runway 33, departing left downwind to the north, Pembini. All right. So when our taxi lights off, landing lights can come on, strobe lights can come on, nav lights can stay on. Condition level, go to flight idle. Flaps are set at 10%, and bring that torque close enough where we can see it. And I am doing about 30 frames per second, which is good. All right, and then brakes. And no matter how tender I apply those brakes, it get that bang. All right, 1310s, 1380 is what I'm looking for. All right, so and we're gonna rotate at 765. 65, so we'll rotate here. And we are airborne. Positive rate, tap the brake, and gear up, fixed gear. So don't have to worry about gear up. And we were at 880. Well, was it 880? Yeah. Okay, so we'll hold this till about 14 and then make our turn to the left. Okay. Pembina traffic, red and white Kodiaks turning left, crosswind. Pembina. Pembina traffic, Kodiak, red and white Kodiaks turning left downwind, Pembina. And where's my airport? All right. And now let's look for a cut in the clouds. Okay, so we're gonna have to punch through the clouds. This looks like this is the a little slight layer here. All right, so we get them flaps out. And 85, see, 110 was our climb profile for this bird, I believe. Okay. And I'm trying to keep my nose slightly higher to get over these clouds. And get this to track the aircraft. Okay, so it looks like I'm over the cloud, so let me pitch for 110. Over that cloud. Let's see if I can cut through this way. I see the river. You guys see this river down here? That's what we're following. And how can we follow this river if it's under a layer of clouds? Good question. And I think the weather actually gets cloudier as we go north. So we were at. I think we do better to stay up under this deck, right? So, and I can't seem to get this thing. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Couldn't find a click spot. Well, let's turn the terrain on just in case we run into some mountainous areas, and we're going to get really low. Try to navigate up under these clouds, and I see water, but that doesn't show me. Okay, I see my river there. And our plan was to keep the river on our left, but the weather don't quite agree with our plans. Okay, so let's level out here at 2,000. Let's level out. Let's climb back up to 2,000 and make that our cruise and see what happens. Okay. Now, I don't have any ortho in this area at all, so everything on the ground is computer generated. And our plan is to follow the river and stay up under the clouds for right now. And we may have to get down as low as 15. But I can see the river way up here, so as long as I'm flying. And I can pull back on this prop lever now. You know, I want to consult this cruise chart. Oh, that's maximum torque for takeoff. Maybe that's one of the things I was looking for, but it didn't give me the temperature, the outside air temperature that applied to me. Cruise chart, I think, let's see, this one up here. Maximum torque for cruise 200 RPMs. And let's make sure that I'm in let's make sure we don't lose that river. Now, it's funny because, well, it ain't funny, but because they are just taking a picture of the terrain and squeezing it into here, I could just follow I could just ignore the clouds and just follow this guy and take the river up here. You know, there's the river there, and you know, the thing is, I'm not supposed to see the river on this. Well, I can say I'm not supposed to see the river, but it ain't supposed to be graphically that graphical, and I wish that Thranda would fix that. Okay, so I hope my passengers got pretty good stomachs, because as you can see, I'm doing a bunch of turning, and this is what I hate about the glass. I can't see what's going on right now in the glass panels, so I either got to pop it out or zoom in. So I'm at roughly 2,400 feet, still climbing at 150 feet per minute. And so if we can stay here at 24, then that would be lovely. I've got my RPMs at 1880, and I need to get them up to 2,000. So let me adjust that on my mixer level. And I think that's a good cruise configuration. Now, I am no missionary pilot. You know, Ryan from Missionary Pilot has been flying this guy forever. He's probably got thousands of hours in the Kodiak, and I think I probably got less than 3. So there's a big difference, and I suppose it shows. All right, so let's do a cruise checklist. I wonder why my cabin temperature is not getting up to where I got it set. And maybe I should just turn the fans up a little bit more. Turn this guy, that guy there. Turn the fans up higher. Maybe that'll help. All right, so now I got my river in view. Still at 24, and I'm trimmed. I'm constantly making small adjustments on my trim to try to hold my altitude. the aircraft is coordinated, as you can see right up in here. So my rudder trim is looking good. I saw a guy fly the Kodiak in Microsoft Simulator, and he was working so hard in the cockpit. I honestly don't think that that the aircraft is that hard to fly. I mean, his trims are all over the place, and his weight and balance. If that wasn't exactly correct, with his weight and balance, if his trims wasn't in exactly the right place, so he would, the aircraft would crash and that kind of stuff. So I can actually see the river in two places. I see my weather just changed. I can see the river here in this MDF display, which is awesome. I'm not really looking at the synthetic view, but I would expect that again, for the third time, I'm gonna say this. Thranda, please circle back and fix this. I'm at 35 frames, and let me zoom in and I can show you how that's affected my frames. Maybe I recently did an update, and actually I'm not seeing my frames drop too badly. So go figure. All right, so I'm leaving my inlet turned on. I'm actually going to turn on some de-icing now. Let's see if we can pop that out. It doesn't want to pop out, so I'm going to zoom in on it. All right, so turn that on normal. I got pump 2 on. I got my ice light on. I can turn that off because I got plenty of outside visibility. And windshield, I don't know if that's the fluid that's covering my windshield or windshield heat. I'm thinking that might be windshield heat. And then my surface and prop is what gets the fluid, I think. And right now I got it on normal, and I'm actually going to turn it off because, well, I got some high clouds, and they do look like they stratocumulus clouds. I don't think that that I'm flying through any visible moisture right now. All right, so what is my altitude? So I lost 400 feet, 300 feet, so let's see if we can get that back with the trim. Now, this is an international flight. I'm flying from the United States to Canada. So, we already did the passport thing, and we are going north. It may get a little colder as we go up. Right now, outside temperature is minus 11 degrees, and it might even go up as we go north. We'll see. And the trim on this guy is real sensitive. All right. Other than that, guys, I'm enjoying this aircraft. She's modeled nicely. Got lights for night flying. You know what I didn't do? It's always something that I lock my chair. It's always something that I realize that I didn't do when I don't do my checklist, and I don't do my checklist, and that's changed my get this guy to 55. All right. Wrong button. And adjust my chair in the Kodiak the way I like it. So, the visibility that I get is not that bad. I can see out of my right window. It's hard to see over the column. I got real good visibility over my left window, and I can see the wing, and can't really tell if that looks like it's icing up. Well, like I said, I shouldn't even worry about it looking like it's icing because it's Vulcan, and Vulcan does not model icing that well. All right, so I'm at 2600. My target is 2400. And the distance to the airport was roughly about 60 miles. So, well, to Winnipeg. I'm expecting that as I get closer, I start seeing some structures on the ground to let me know that I'm actually really arriving. And so, yeah, I'm actually enjoying flying this airplane. I want to turn my inlet off, but there's so much moisture out there, and I could, with the thickness of these clouds, I could run up under some sort of shower, but maybe with sleep. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave them on. Right. And I do need to see, like a long time ago, I had flown this aircraft, and there was a reference guide that showed me where to set the torque. And the one that I had pulled up might have been it, the one with the pressure altitude, because it's the pressure altitude that actually tells the plane where it thinks it's at. So I may be looking at the right one. So the 1310 on the torque and rotating about where I rotated may have been right. All right, so I see some stuff just above, and I got a 5 nautical mile loop. Let's see, now this is 5 nautical miles, this circle, and I got a 20 nautical mile look ahead. So let's see if we can expand that. And we do need to get out weather from Manitoba, Winnipeg. can't seem to find a kick spot. Let's use this one. All right, so 30. And the airport that we are flying to is Yankee Whiskey Golf. Yankee Whiskey Golf. So it's this air. This is the air. This is the what am I trying to say? The airport. All right. So Yankee Whiskey Golf that's actually James Richardson Armstrong Airport. And I've got 2 runways. ADA's is 120.2. So let's go ahead and dial that in. And let's 120.2. Go up, I can get it quicker. I'm in a valley.
James A. Richardson INTL Information Zulu. 2000 Zulu weather. Wind 110 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 2500 broken. Temperature -8. Dew point -12. Altimeter 2957. Arriving runway 36. Departing runway 36. Advised on initial contact you have Zulu.
Okay, I suspect you guys couldn't hear that.
James A. Richardson INTL Information Zulu.
Let's see.
2000 Zulu weather.
And
Wind
I know it's still playing,
Visibility more than 10. Sky
but I need to put in I'm going straight to tower rather than clearance delivery. 118.3 and ground is 0.9.
Advised on initial contact you have Zulu.
And 2956 was the altimeter. Okay, and 118.6.
2000 Zulu weather. Wind 110 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 2500 broken. Temperature
Okay.
-8. Dew point -12. Altimeter 2957. Arriving runway 36. Departing runway
118.
36. Advised on initial contact you have Zulu.
And runway 36, so we actually are on base and we're going to do a straight in. Manitoba Tower, Kodiak 756 Tango Whiskey is 6 miles, 4 miles to the south inbound, runway inbound 4 stop. Make straight in runway 36. Kodiak 756 Tango Whiskey. Okay, so there's my airport, and airport elevation is Did they find it quickly? 784. All right. And get back in my sim. 784,000 feet. So 1800 was pattern. So I'm on approach now. All right. Lights. Landing lights are on. I didn't turn my lights off. So, all right. So let's put in our first notch of flaps with 106. I think 75 is our touchdown speed, if I'm not mistaken. And it's too late for me to look at the charts. So do some trimming here and look for that glide slope. All right, so I got this back pressure off. All right, glumps, gas, lights, undercarriage, mixture, props. And try to catch that glide slope. It's telling me I'm a little low. Now it's funny because here I'm not getting the airport in my in my synthetic view yet. Maybe to come in. Or at least the runway. Now I'm doing 21 frames, and I'm putting in a lot of back pressure. I really am. I have to check my speeds. Get over this column. Yeah, says I'm a little low. I'm on slope now. So I track that center line. It's hard to track it. I couldn't see it. But we are on the runway, and I don't think we damaged the plane. So it's a good day. All right, bring that condition back to flight idle, and we'll get off the runway and clean up. I don't think I ever got my clearance to land. Clear to land. 756 Tango Whiskey. All right. And it's going to go boom right when it stopped. Stop, baby. Yep. Okay. FLTTC. F is for flaps. Had a brain, lost my brain there for a second. Flaps, lights, strobes come off, landing lights come on, off, taxi go on, and navs I'm gonna leave on. FL, so that was flaps and lights. TT, transponder, I never did turn that on. And trim. So let's get our trim. Man, look at our trim. It's way up here at the. Oh, actually, I was coming in looking at the flaps. But let's get our trim set to takeoff. And that white arc. All right. And we are cleaned up and taxi to parking. 756 Tango Whiskey. I think I'm 756. I have to look and see, right? 749. That's embarrassing. All right. And so we made this whole flight with our engine inlet on because it's so cloudy. And one thing I don't put enough of are these outside views. But the Kodiak, ladies and gentlemen, without the cargo pod. Now, I haven't a clue where the FBO is at. I see the terminal, so I'm gonna just go up past the terminal and looking for parked aircraft and nothing in blue. Well, suffice it to say that I'm gonna park right beside these airliners in my Kodiak. All right. So let's shut down and turn this guy off. Turn that guy off. Get rid of him. Set up parking brake. Should have did that first. All right, and then pumps, windshield, pitot heat, bypass, lights, beacon stays on. Aux can go off. Avionics can go off. And feather it. And master. All right. And we can get rid of our passengers. And we are good. I can't tell that I use any of my de-icing fluid. I really can't. But anyway, guys, I think it'd be interesting to see this guy from parked in front of these big heavy aircraft. And like I said, there's probably general aviation way over here. That's my guess. And I'm not sure what's over here look like. That doesn't look like general aviation. But what I find curious is that this airport is larger than I thought in terms of the terminals. Anyway, I'm just dragging this video on. Okay, guys, I appreciate you flying along with me, and until next time.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.